Astro Intel is here, and welcome to our deep dive into the stars for this week.
Hey there. Good be diving in.
Yeah, we're looking closely at April 21st through the 27th, 2025. And this is the week where that grounded Taurus energy really starts to settle in.
That's right. You can feel that shift, can't you?
You really can. And if you're tuning in, you're probably feeling it too, and you're curious about how all these cosmic movements are going to shape things, right? So our goal here is just to break down the key planetary stuff, give you some insight into what to keep in mind as we, fully step into Taurus season.
Absolutely. And it's not just about that steady Taurian vibe, though that's huge, obviously. We've got some pretty significant cosmic conversations happening.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, we're definitely going to focus on that new moon in Taurus on the 27th. That's always a big moment for fresh starts in that sign.
Okay.
But we also got to talk about Mars in Leo squaring off with Pluto in Aquarius.
Ah!
That's some dynamic tension right there.
Ooh, okay. Sounds intense.
It can be. And also that connection between Saturn and the North Node happening in Pisces. That's pretty profound, kind of deep.
Wow. Okay. So it feels like the universe is kind of talking to us on a few different levels this week.
That's exactly it. It's like, okay, plant your feet, but also be ready for some shifts, some growth potential.
All right. So let's start by really digging into the heart of Taurus season itself. What's that all about?
Okay, let's unpack it. So Taurus season officially started April 19th, right? And it takes us through May 20th.
Got it.
And the core energy here, the main invitation, it's really about slowing down. It's ruled by Venus. It's Earth energy.
Yeah.
So connect with the tangible world.
Tangible, like what you can touch and feel.
Exactly. Simple pleasures. Putting energy into building things that last.
Yeah.
Whether that's a project or maybe a relationship or even just your own inner sense of security.
I like that, building something lasting. And, for our listeners who like to really get into the details but maybe not feel rushed.
Yeah.
Taurus season itself kind of encourages that pace, doesn't it? Taking your time, absorbing things.
Precisely. Taurus is methodical. It's ruled by Venus, grounded in Earth, so our attention goes to our physical selves, the material world. There's a kind of sacredness there.
Sacredness in the physical.
Yeah, and taking those dreams, those big ideas, and actually making them real, bringing them down to Earth.
Okay.
And that Venus part in Taurus, that's so key. It's about foundational self-love, appreciating beauty, recognizing your own worth deep down.
So if Aries season, the one we just left, was all about that big burst of energy, getting things started.
Right, the initiation.
Then Taurus season is like the steady hand coming in saying, okay, you started it, now let's nurture it, let's make it solid.
There's a perfect way to put it. Aries lights the fire, Taurus tends the hearth.
Yeah.
Make sure it burns steady and lasts.
Tending the hearth, I like that.
Yeah, tending those new beginnings with care, making them sustainable. Now, thinking about how this might feel a bit different for everyone, depending on your rising sign.
Ah, yes, the personal lens.
Exactly. The sign that was coming up on the eastern horizon when you were born. We've got some specific themes for 2025 based on that.
Okay, let's run through them. For our Aries rising folks, what's the main invitation this Taurus season?
Aries rising, for you, the focus is really on safety and belonging. Where do you feel secure? Where do you feel truly at home? Time to anchor that.
Interesting. Okay. And for Taurus rising, the sun's right in your sign, so.
Yeah, big time for you. New beginnings, absolutely, but centered on building stability, security, really anchoring into who you're becoming now, embracing that solid self.
Makes sense. What about Gemini rising? Always so much mental energy there.
Right. So for Gemini rising, Taurus season is an invitation to gently bring some of that amazing mental energy down into the body.
Grounding the thoughts.
Kind of. And cultivating a deeper trust, maybe in your intuition or just something beyond pure logic.
That sounds like a nice shift. And Cancer rising?
For Cancer rising, the theme is powerful. You belong, period. You belong to yourself, you belong to the earth, you belong to the collective. Recognizing that deep connection.
Lovely. And for the vibrant Leo risings out there?
Leo rising, it's all about dream building for you. Take those big, bold desires and start making them tangible. Anchor them in the real world with steady effort.
Make it real.
Got it.
Virgo rising, known for practicality.
Yes, and this Taurus season invites Virgo rising to kind of let life speak to you. Find the wisdom, the meaning in those everyday grounded experiences. Less analyzing, maybe more receiving.
Let life speak to you.
Right.
Libra rising, seeking harmony.
For Libra rising, it's a callback to nature. Find beauty, find light, maybe in places you haven't tended much, both outside and inside yourself.
Okay. And Scorpio rising, often focused on those deep connections.
Emphasis on love, Scorpio rising. Love for self, love for others, nurturing that real sense of safety and belonging within your important relationships.
Important focus. Sagittarius rising, the adventurers.
Taurus season brings a gentle reminder. Your body is your home. Sag rising. It's about returning to its rhythm, honoring its needs, maybe slowing that gallop just a bit.
Okay. Body as home. Capricorn rising, usually focused on structure, achievement.
This season invites you to explore what genuinely sparks joy. Cap rising. What makes you happy? Maybe embracing a bit more lightness, some playfulness.
Yeah, a little lightness for Capricorn, I like it. Aquarius rising. Forward thinkers, community-minded.
For Aquarius rising, the focus turns inward more. Belonging to yourself. Tending to your own inner roots, your individual foundations. What makes you?
New roots. Okay. And last but not least, Pisces rising. Deep intuition, often quite dreamy.
Pisces rising. This Taurus season is about landing more fully in yourself, honoring the unique, beautiful way your mind and body work together, embracing your specific magic.
Wow, that's such a great overview, hitting each rising sign. Super helpful.
Glad it resonates. It gives a more personal flavor to the season's energy.
Definitely. Okay, now let's shift to the specific planetary action this week. First up, April 21st, Saturn conjunct the North Node in Pisces. That sounds significant.
It really is. It's quite a rare alignment. Saturn, the planet of structure, discipline, lessons,
About responsibility.
eating the North Node,
Yeah.
which is all about our soul's path, our evolutionary direction. And it's happening in Pisces, the sign of spirituality, dreams, the collective unconscious.
So like getting serious about our spiritual path.
Exactly. It's a major prompt for deep introspection about your life's purpose, long-term spiritual growth. It's a really favorable time to commit to that growth. Align your actions with your higher calling, taking ownership of your journey.
Okay, taking ownership. Powerful start to the week. Then midweek, April 23rd, the Sun in Taurus squares Pluto in Aquarius. Now squares mean tension, right? Challenge.
They often do. Yeah, a square creates this dynamic friction. And here you've got the Sun in steady, comfort-loving Taurus.
Wants things nice and stable.
And it's bumping up against Pluto. In Aquarius, Pluto being transformation, power, deep change, and Aquarius being about innovation, the collective, sometimes disruption.
So stability versus disruption or transformation.
Pretty much. You might feel this as like an internal tug of war. Part of you wants to keep things secure and comfortable, that Taurus vibe. But another part, driven by Pluto, feels this powerful urge to tear down anything that feels old, restrictive, inauthentic.
Even if it's uncomfortable.
Especially if it's uncomfortable. Pluto doesn't really do comfort zones. It could show up as external power struggles, sure, but also really deep internal stuff. Questioning your foundations, your values, what truly empowers you versus what just feels safe but stagnant.
So that Taurus desire to just chill and enjoy might get a serious poke from Pluto saying, hey, is this really working for your soul's growth?
You got it. It's pushing us to release what's outdated, even if letting go feels shaky. It might bring up some deep emotions that need looking at.
Okay. Intense, but potentially very freeing in the long run.
Exactly. Growth opportunity, for sure.
All right. Then the next day, April 24th, Venus, who rules Taurus, meets up with Saturn, both still in Pisces. What's this conjunction about?
Venus conjunct Saturn in Pisces. This one calls for some real emotional maturity, particularly in relationships.
Maturity how?
It's about taking a sober look at your commitments. Are they solid? Are your boundaries healthy? It's a time to really solidify the connections that have long-term meaning and maybe reassess those that don't feel quite right or respectful.
So less about whirlwind romance, more about building something real.
Definitely. Think responsibility, realism in relating, making conscious choices that foster harmony and stability down the line, building respectful connections grounded in mutual understanding, especially in Pisces. It adds that layer of compassion, but also necessary boundaries.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, especially after the Pluto square maybe shaking things up.
Yeah, it provides a chance to rebuild or reinforce with more wisdom.
Now, moving towards the end of the week, April 26th, Mars in Leo, opposing Pluto in Aquarius. We talked about Mars-Pluto before. This sounds like a big one.
It's a powerhouse, yeah. And remember, this opposition is kind of the final chapter of a cycle that started during the last Mars retrograde.
Right, I remember that.
So Mars is direct now, blazing and fiery, expressive Leo, wanting recognition, wanting to shine.
Yeah, that Leo roar.
Totally. And it's a directly opposite Pluto in collective-minded, future-focused Aquarius. So underlying tensions, they can really come to the surface now, maybe with more clarity than before.
Tensions between what?
Often it's that push and pull between your personal ambitions, your ego drive, Mars in Leo, and your sense of responsibility to the group, the collective needs, Pluto in Aquarius.
My desires versus the greater good.
Kind of, yeah. How do you balance wanting to shine as an individual with what's needed for the community for progress? You might really become aware of power dynamics in your relationships at work, even within yourself. It asks for courage and integrity.
So that Leo need for expression might clash with Aquarius's focus on the group.
It definitely can feel like a tug of war, but it's also incredibly potent energy for transformation. You channel it consciously.
How?
Well, you can use this assertive drive to break through old patterns, confront those power structures that feel limiting, whether they're internal blocks or external situations. Our sources even suggest finding healthy ways to express the intensity physically, verbally, creatively. Move the energy.
Yeah, don't just let it fester.
Exactly. Transmute it. But the key is awareness. Avoid just reacting impulsively. Leo Mars can be fiery. Pluto opposition adds intensity. Act with intention.
Good advice. Okay, phew. After all that, we finally get to April 27th. The new moon in Taurus. This sounds like maybe a calmer moment. A chance to ground.
It really does. It feels like a welcome exhale after some of that dynamic energy. This new moon is a beautiful, grounding lunar event.
And new moons are for setting intentions, right?
Yes, prime time. And in Taurus, the invitation is to set intentions rooted in stability, self-worth, your sense of security, both material and emotional.
Okay, so what should we focus on?
Really think about what brings you genuine comfort, what makes you feel safe and valued. Plant seeds for those things to grow. It's a great time for practical stuff, too. Financial planning, maybe assessing your resources, but also connecting with your core values, what truly matters. Cultivating inner peace.
So reflecting on what makes you feel stable and nurtured, and then making a plan, setting an intention to build more of that.
You got it. It's like practical magic, focused on cultivating that tangible, grounded well-being that Taurus loves so much.
Fantastic. Okay, so looking at the whole week, all these pieces, what are the big picture themes tying it all together?
Well, the most obvious one is that dance between stability and transformation. The Taurus energy wanting to ground and build.
Right, the new moon, the season itself.
Clashing or interacting dynamically with Pluto's transformative push, hitting both the sun and Mars. So you'll likely feel that push-pull somewhere in your life.
Stability versus change. Got it. What else?
There's a strong theme of emotional maturity, especially with that Venus-Saturn conjunction. It's asking us to approach relationships with more responsibility, more awareness, and then empowered action. That Mars-Pluto opposition, while intense, is really about using assertive energy constructively for positive change, but mindfully, considering those power dynamics.
So it feels like a week where we need to tend to our inner world, but also engage consciously with the outer world and potential changes.
Exactly. It's a blend. There's introspection needed. Saturn North Node, Venus-Saturn, and Pisces really pull us inward. But then there's the call for action. Mars-Pluto demands we engage.
And that tension you mentioned earlier, personal desires versus collective responsibility.
That's a recurring thread, yeah. Especially with Pluto and Aquarius getting activated by both the Sun and Mars. It keeps asking, how does my personal path fit into the bigger picture?
Makes sense. And just quickly, the moon shifts signs during the week too. How might that subtly influence the feel of things day to day?
Good point. Those shifts add texture. We start the week, April 21st, with the moon in Aquarius. So expect to focus on connection, communication, maybe group activities.
Okay.
Then around the 23rd, the moon drifts into Pisces. That could bring a softer, more intuitive, maybe more emotional vibe, could lift the spirits or make us more sensitive. Then on the 25th, the moon hits Aries. That brings back a spark, some get up and go energy, leading us right into that grounding Taurus new moon on the 27th.
So it's like a little journey through different moods leading up to that fresh start.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the subtle background music to the bigger planetary movements. It influences our daily focus, our mood.
All right. So as we wrap up this deep dive for the week of April 21st to 27th, 2025.
Yeah.
It's definitely a significant time. We've got Taurus season really kicking in alongside these potent planetary meetups.
For sure. It's a dynamic period. Lots of room for inner reflection and for conscious action out in the world.
Yeah. So as you, our listener, move through this week, maybe keep a few reflection questions in mind.
Oh, good idea.
Well, maybe ask yourself, what areas of my life are calling for that balance between comfort and necessary change? Where is that Pluto poke showing up?
That's a good one. Deep.
Then maybe, how can I cultivate relationships, friendships, partnerships, family that are truly fulfilling and grounded in mutual respect and responsibility? That Venus-Saturn piece.
Mm-hmm. Taking ownership there, too.
Exactly. And finally, with that new moon coming, what intentions can I set to really align with my true values and my aspirations for stability and worth?
Beautiful questions to sit with. Really helps integrate the energy.
Yeah, we hope so. It feels like a really valuable time to connect with your authentic self, figure out what truly matters, and plant those seeds for a future that really resonates.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, thanks for diving deep with us once again here on Astro Intel.
Always a pleasure.
We'll catch you next week with more cosmic insights.